Hey everyone, it's Rihanna and welcome back to another film review. Today I'm going to be talking about Captain America Civil War, one of my personal most anticipated films of 2016. Now for this I am not going to be doing spoilers, this is going to be a spoiler-free review, and for once I actually have read the source material of Civil War, but I will just be reviewing Captain America Civil War as a film. This film was directed by Anthony and Joe Russo, who also directed Captain America the Winter Soldier, but this film takes place right after Avengers Age of Ultron, and after the destruction of places like New York, Washington DC, and now Sokovia. Everyone is starting to question whether or not the Avengers need to be contained, and then you have the side of Tony Stark, who believes that they should be controlled and should only be sent on missions that the government tell them to go on, and then we have Steve Rogers, who thinks they should go to help if it is needed. And here we have our conflicting sides of Team Iron Man and Team Captain America. Captain America Civil War really is all in the title. We have half Captain America following Steve Rogers and his personal journey with his friends Bucky Barnes, Sam Wilson, Peggy Carter, him dealing with his personal life as Captain America, and then we have the other half, which is Civil War, which essentially is Avengers 2.5. We have Team Iron Man, who believe that they should all be controlled and should be sent on missions when the government say they should be sent on missions, which obviously involves Iron Man, Tony Stark, who's played by Robert Downey Jr., and in the film it is a Captain America film, but when Tony Stark's there you just realise that he is going to steal a lot of the show and the spotlight away from Captain America, which I didn't necessarily agree with. Anyway, yes, of course we have Iron Man, War Machine, Black Widow, Vision, and the introduction of T'Challa, aka Black Panther. And of course another new Avenger we have in Team Iron Man is Spider-Man, which I will talk about a little bit more later on. And then we have Team Captain America, which involves obviously Captain America, the Falcon, the Winter Soldier, Scarlett Witch, and then we have Ant-Man and Hawkeye all on Team Captain America. So the Avengers have definitely split down the middle and the Civil War gets really intense. The concept of a Civil War is set up really well. We understand why both teams feel the way they feel, and it does make sense for them to be controlled since there has been so much destruction. And there are underlying and villainous roles in this film that obviously are working against the Avengers. I do think the plot overall is very complex and it has lots of layers, but it is really easy to understand by the end of the film. There are some scenes that do feel a little bit out of place and maybe shouldn't have been there or maybe should have been cut short. However, don't let them ruin the film for you, because I do think in the end of the film, when you understand everything, they all add up. All of the actors in this film do a great job. Obviously Chris Evans as Captain America, Steve Rogers, I love him as a character. I love that he sticks to his guts and his morals and sticks to his friends. That's what I love about Captain America's character. And then of course we have Tony Stark, who we've all seen as this bigged up playboy philanthropist who's got a very big ego, but he's changing his ways and he's actually seeing the fact that the Avengers do affect other people's lives and do get innocent people killed, which I like seeing that innocent side of Tony. And we have all of the other Avengers, and there is really cool parts of each of them. I wouldn't necessarily each of them get an equal part in this film because it is a lot of stuff to deal with, and I think the Russo brothers dealt with it very well, getting each of them into this film and having their own role in this film as well. Two characters I thought they did extremely well in this film were Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man, and T'Challa, aka the Prince of Wakanda, aka Black Panther. I love those two. Those two were two of my favourite parts of this film. Spider-Man, I was really worried about him being in this film. I thought they were just going to chuck him in there and he would pretty much be useless. I have so much faith just because Tom Holland does a great job as Peter Parker. He is literally the perfect casting for Spider-Man. I absolutely loved him in this film. I loved him and Tony's connection with each other, and T'Challa, aka Black Panther, kicked so much ass in this as a human and as a superhero. His fighting style is so gripping to watch. I loved the scenes when Black Panther was fighting. It was just, I couldn't take my eyes off the screen. And him as a human as well. I love his morals and I love how he sticks to his culture, and I'm really intrigued by his character. Just after one sentence of being with his character, I was really invested in him. So I think the Russo brothers did a great job with Black Panther and Spider-Man, introducing them into the Avengers. I can't reveal too many details about the villain in this film, which is Zemo, played by Brühl, but all I can say is that the villain in this film was a massive disappointment to me. He did not whatsoever have enough character development for me to be invested and for me to believe his motives. I could see his motives by the end of the film, I just don't think his character was executed in a good way. I was far more invested in Bucky Barnes and the Winter Soldier and the Civil War going on in there because he cannot be controlled, rather than the villain's story overall. He was just purely executed in this film. I think that's kind of the same with Frank Grillo's Crossbones. To be honest, I feel like he was a waste in this film. I really couldn't see the point in him being here. I'm sorry if that's a disappointment to you, but it was a disappointment to me. What was not a disappointment to me was the action in this film. This action is top notch. If you love the action in Winter Soldier, you are going to adore the action in Civil War. There's a definite style in the way the Russo brothers directs this action and how it's choreographed and everything and how they film it. I absolutely love it just because you can see the hand-to-hand combat, you can see the effect it has on the characters, and I love the way that the characters who have powers demonstrate their powers and how they use their fighting style. I think it's great. As I said, Black Panther, such a great fighter. Oh my goodness. Him and Bucky and Captain America and Iron Man. Oh my goodness, the fighting scenes with them were just so gripping to watch. I had my mouth open, I was so shocked. I love the hand-to-hand combat in this film. And the action in this film keeps it well paced from start to end. The action impresses, as does the special effects and CGI. Marvel are at their top game when it comes to the special effects. Like, my god, this looked amazing. Civil War to me definitely has a Age of Ultron vibe in the way that it is set up with each scene and with its comedy as well, because there is so much comedy in Civil War, and at times it did get a little bit too much for me, especially in the action scenes when there was a lot of comedy. However, I was dying laughing. It is so comical and so well written. Just the comedy in this film is so good. The pacing kept going because of the comedy and because of the action, and literally this movie flew by. I really didn't want this to end. I love being with these characters. Anthony and Joe Russo did a really great job getting so much into one film. It is quite a long film, but as I said, it flies by. The action sequences and the comedy are great, and I just love the way these guys have directed Captain America Civil War. I think they do a fantastic job at executing a superhero movie, getting the balance between them being human characters and them being superheroes, because I think in Civil War you definitely see a softer side to a lot of the characters and a more human side to these superheroes, and I really like the way that they show the consequence in this film. I was entertained throughout, I had a blast watching this film, and there is two ways I can rate Captain America Civil War. From a filmmaking aspect with the directing and the writing, I would give this film just a win, just because I feel like it could have been a little bit stronger with its villain and with its scene structure. However, on entertainment value and as a superhero movie, I have definitely got to give Captain America Civil War an epic win. I had a blast watching this movie, loved Captain America Civil War, no matter what its flaws, and it has quite a few of them. It's not a perfect movie, but if you're a Marvel fan, definitely go see this in the cinema. In terms of ranking the Captain America movies, I would definitely have to say it would go Captain America the Winter Soldier, Captain America Civil War, and Captain America the First Avenger. I just feel like Winter Soldier has a lot more structure to it than Civil War does, but Civil War is extremely entertaining and I loved it, and I got very emotional about it. If you guys have seen Captain America Civil War, let me know what you thought of it down below in the comments, but please be spoiler free. And also let me know what your favourite film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is down below in the comments. If you like this review, please be sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I'll be doing lots more TV reviews and movie reviews for you guys very soon. All my social media links, including my Twitter, Facebook, Instagram and Letterboxd, will be down below in the description. Come follow me. As always guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys very soon. Bye!